Davi-tech-media. Subscribe to Davi-tech-media. Davi-tech-media. Subscribe to Davi-tech-media.
And so this morning on my way to work, I picked up the newspaper and I saw on there a headline that I want to share with you. And of course, all of you know, you're familiar with this headline. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to throw it up here just so that you and I, and then later on, I'm going to open the phone lines and I'd like to hear from you. Of course, I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth. And then I'd like for you to sort of comment and tell me what you feel. Tell me how you perceive this whole thing. First of all, let me begin by talking about Max Chong'u. Now, in the Daily Nation, they have sort of misquoted his name. Ifatwa ishbatini Max Chong'u. More Daily Nation, badembediati Max Chong'u. I think in Abadufiania. Tell me in the comments below if the Zambia Daily Nation, because they say Max Chong'u, but his name is Chong'u. I think they said Chong'u. Anyway, his name is Max Chong'u. You remember Max. He's the PF loyalist. He's the Patriotic Front prodigal son of Mr. Michael Sata. Because when you listen to Max Chong'u speak, that guy is a spitting image in terms of vocabulary, in terms of voice projection, in terms of the way he speaks. He is a spitting image of the late Michael Sata. You close your eyes, you can swear that is Michael Sata speaking. So Max Chong'u is a protege of Vasata. Okay. Now, Max is known for many, many different things. First of all, he was known as, he did that Big Brother thing. He had that stint with Larato. I think her name was Larato over there on DSTV. He was part of the Big Brother house. And he gained a level of notoriety there. And then after that, he sort of evolved into this political figure. And he became a kada, a PF kada. Now, on the street, he had to gain what's called street cred. So, on the street, he had to be tough. He had to become a don in a way. And he sort of gained his reputation by being this tough guy. And he spent some time in prison and he's had some scuffles here and there. But as a way of rewarding him for his quote unquote loyalty, the Patriotic Front awarded him, and guys, I want you to see this, Max Chong'u's, and this is what we're talking about. Max Chong'u's 8.9 million kwacha contract has been exposed. Now, you remember during the time of the notorious Patriotic Front, during the regime of the PF, during the dispensation of this brutal party that did everything within its power to rape this nation of not only our dignity, but our resources. During the PF, these boys, and I call them boys because they're much younger than I am. So we can call them boys, it's okay. Kauchari, it's okay. These boys were seen on social media, many like him, and including Max himself. They were seen on social media parading beautiful palatial homes. They were living in the lap of luxury. Max in particular, he gave us a tour of one of his homes. And here, let me just double make sure here that we're clear. He gave us a tour of one of his homes, and he splashed this on social media, walking around the house with a glass of Chardonnay. Was it Chardonnay? It could have been Chardonnay. I mean, who knows? Who's to know? Who's to say what it was? It was an alcoholic beverage. He was walking through the home, talking about how he was living the life. Now, guys, let me make a side note here and say it's been my experience, my observation, more accurately. It's been my observation that people that have what's known as old money. Okay, not new money, old money. Old money is money that is traceable, money that has a genesis, money that has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has a projected continuum. That's called old money. My observation is that people that have old money, which is authentic money, money that is traceable, money that you can see, that's old traceable money. People with old money never boast. That's my experience and my observation. I want to say that again because I think that's very important. People that have traceable, legitimate money do not go on social media and start parading their money. When was the last time you saw Mark Zuckerberg flaunting his money? When was the last time you saw Tyler Perry flaunting his money? I mean, flaunting. You know what flaunting is? Flaunting means, you take the money, you sit in front of some place, and then you say, impiesh shanti. This is the amount of money that I've made. People with traceable money very seldom flaunt it. But here it is. Max Chong'u, these guys used to flaunt all this money. And now, with the change of regime, we are now observing headlines like this. Max Chong'u's 8.9 million kwacha contract exposed. Now, let's ask the question, why was he given 8.9 million kwacha? What sort of contract was he given? Well, here it is. I'll throw it up for you. The contract was for the supply of disposable surgical and K995 face masks by the previous government, the notorious Patriotic Front. Now, let's keep in mind that during the pandemic, during the COVID-19 fiasco, we had many different countries that donated multiplicity of multitudinous tens of millions of kwacha towards this effort at staving off and sort of pushing against the wall of COVID-19. We had foundations like Jack Ma. Jack Ma donated more than 100,000 surgical masks. Many different companies, many different countries did the same thing. But during the PF, very seldom did we know or were we told about the traceable trajectory of these donations. All we did was we heard about them. There was no roadmap. It was just on paper and videotape. Oh, vane uku vatupera chite. Vatupera 100,000 masks. But then we didn't know how those masks were distributed, which then begs the question. If you're going to award people that have no background, no traceable background in the area of the supply of surgical masks to Max Chong'u, and then you put an 8.9 million kwacha price tag on it, do you not think that raises eyebrows? Do you not think that raises a multiplicity of multitudinous tens of questions? Is it any wonder that the Attorney General turns around and says, Max, we're going to have to freeze your bank accounts, something that would never happen during the PF. We're going to have to seize some of your properties because the way these contracts were given is questionable. Not only contracts, but look at the magnitude of the contracts. This is the reason, my brothers and sisters, that people like Max Chong'u can have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to flaunt their wealth, ill-gotten gain on social media and say they are living the life of luxury. They're living in the lap of luxury at the expense and on the backbone of the Zambian John Q taxpayer. That's you and me. Now, guys, again, there's nothing wrong, I don't think. And of course, that's a hard G at the end of that word. There's nothing wrong with gaining contracts as a direct consequence of your proximity to the government. But there's everything wrong when you have such exorbitant amounts of money, 8.9 million and then against the backdrop of multiple countries, people like Jack Ma donating millions of kwacha towards the effort, fighting against COVID-19, and something that nobody ever talks about. So it's not strange for us to ask, where the heck did you get this kind of money from? And what did you do with this money? Let me hasten to add, and you must know this, and it's only fair for me to bring this up, to say it this way. Let me hasten to add, I'm sorry, my picture's gone blurry, the internet's gone nuts, but as long as you can hear me, we're fine. Let me hasten to add that the same vices that plagued the notorious Patriotic Front, the same exact vices that plagued the PF, are the same vices that potentially could plague the UPND. There are people in the UPND that will find themselves in the same position that Max is in now. If you don't learn the lesson, history repeats itself. And of course, we do have a president, in my view, that is trying to do right by this country. We have a president that's doing everything within his power to make this nation better than what he found. I'm confident of that. I believe in that. I know that that's where his heart is. But then, of course, down the line, the hierarchy below him, not everybody in there has the same mindset as the president. Of course, not to suggest that the president is perfect. My point is this: the same challenges that Max Chong'u is going through, Mwewa UPND, if you are not careful, you are going to find yourselves in the same boat. So this is a cautionary tale. Are you hearing this? What's happening to Max Chong'u now is a cautionary tale. It should be a cautionary tale for those of you in government, those of you in office. You are there to serve the people. Yes, survive, but don't survive at the expense of the Zambian people. Don't survive on the back of Mr. and Mrs. John Q. taxpayer. Don't do that. If you do that, it's going to come out and we shall suck you, honey. So go out there and do your bit. Your time to serve is now. Serve now. Serve. Of course, do what you need to do, and you know how to do that. But don't kill the nation. Don't do that. You're there to serve. And I often say this, and we often hear this. If you be a billionaire, don't do it on the back of government. Don't do that. Don't. If you want to be a billionaire, go into private business. Don't go in government to be a billionaire. That's not how it works. And if you think that's how it works, your name is going to be attached to numbers like this. Okay? Are we clear on that? Are we clear on that? Okay. So I'm going to open the phone lines in a few minutes, and I'm going to ask you to tell me what you think about this contract and what you think should be done here. Is this justifiable? Do you think it's justifiable to freeze Max Chong'u's accounts? Okay, because that's what the Drug Enforcement Commission has done. They have frozen his bank accounts. They have seized multiple properties. And guys, the other thing, and I'm going to say something to you guys. I'm going to say something to you. Okay, give me a second, because I want to say this right. I don't want to mess it up. Have you noticed the people that are in trouble are the people that showed off a lot? But there are people in the PF, and some of them I know, dead quiet. Even during the time of the NPF, they never used to talk. They never flaunted their money. They never flaunted their wealth. If they did get wealth, if whether or not they got that legitimately or illegitimately, I don't know. But I know this: there are people that are people of means that did not flaunt and make a big deal out of their wealth. There are many, I can count them on my 2 fingers. I can count 2 people right now that were in the NPF. They were silent, they were quiet. Today, nobody goes after them unless somebody reports them, if in fact there was something there. But my point is, the people that made the loudest noise in terms of showing off and flaunting, those are the ones that the DEC are after. So what's the lesson there? Sometimes just keep quiet. Just sit down and keep quiet. If you did do something wrong, the law will ultimately catch up to you. But the point is, sometimes just keep your mouth shut. Boom. Can we say that? Are we allowed to say that here on Facebook? Can we say that? All right. Last thing I want to say, I noticed, I'm going to open the phone lines here in a second. I was watching Mr. Harry Kalaba's Facebook page. I was a little disappointed that Kalaba would highlight, there's this video. There's a video of a young boy. He's talking about how, he has to now begin to lie to protect his life. He says, so the best is and then he lists a line of things that are untrue. And then he sort of attributes that to the current administration. What offended me was that a man of Mr. Harry Kalaba's stature would highlight that video and say, this cracked me up. Kalaba, right now, your party is under siege. There is an implosion. There is an impending implosion that threatens the livelihood of your political party and your political survival. And you're out here making jokes. I caution you, sir, take care of your house. Take care of your political house. Don't go on social media making such jokes. If I were you, I would be preoccupied with holding your party together. Because let me tell you, over the next several months, your political party is going to fall apart at the seams. And you have to grab a hold of that thing. You have to make sure that you put the glue around that thing so that it doesn't disintegrate. So don't go on social media and making jokes about something instead of, concentrating on holding the party together. Okay. That's what I wanted to say about that.
Subscribe to Davi-tech-media. Davi-tech-media. Subscribe to Davi-tech-media.